Hi, my name is Marte Langevik. Today I will talk about urban sprawl and compaction. This is a video lecture from the research project Surround. Another term for compaction is densification. After the Second World War, there was a great need for housing in Norway. We had social housing, which was public funding and construction of low-cost housing for all. This became an integrated part of urban development. Suburbs developed on the outskirts of the existing cities. This was dense housing development, often in apartment blocks, and there were public green spaces between the buildings. This was regarded efficient use of resources. There were housing for many people in the same building, and there were low material requirements. The picture here shows an everyday at Lambertseter, a suburb of Oslo, in 1958. This development led to urban sprawl. The cities fed on their surroundings, both natural areas and agricultural areas. The map here shows Oslo around 1960, and one can see that the city, which is the grey areas, are stretching out southwest and eastwise from the city center. And below you can also see a visualization of the urban development plan for Copenhagen in the post-war period. This is called the finger plan because of the fingers stretching out from the center. This plan was adopted in 1947. In the beginning, public transport was important in the suburbs, but gradually more and more people got private cars. Then it became possible to commute longer distances to work, and industries were moved out of the city center. This led to massive road constructions. The picture here shows Trondheimsveien, close to the suburb of Veitvet in Groruddalen, also in Oslo, around 1970. In the 1970s and 80s, environmental critiques of the ongoing urban developments grew. Firstly, the urban expansion threatened rich agricultural soils and large natural areas adjacent to the cities. The upper picture here shows a suburb in USA which borders an agricultural field. But facilitation for private transport also required large areas. Secondly, the increasing private transport led to high emissions. From the 1970s and onward, attention to the greenhouse effects and forthcoming climatic changes also grew. The environmental critique of urban development was part of a larger global environmental movement. In the mid-80s, the UN report on sustainable development was launched. The question of how to achieve sustainable urban development also emerged. And in Norway, a research project called Nature and Environmentally Friendly Urban Development, the Norwegian abbreviation is NAMIT, played an important role in defining objectives for sustainable urban planning. The project concluded that the best way forward was compaction. Compaction leads to less land use and hence improved protection of agricultural and natural areas. It also leads to reduced energy use, both for housing and for transport. And shorter distances make cycling and walking viable options for transport. Also, a denser population improves the basis for good public transport services. The three last points here also serve to reduce the emissions. Here you can see a much used illustration of urban sprawl versus urban compaction. This illustration compares Atlanta and Barcelona in 1990. Atlanta and Barcelona have approximately the same population size, but Atlanta has 74 kilometers of metro lines, the red lines you can see, whereas the metro system in Barcelona is 99 kilometers. This means that Atlanta has only 4% of the population who can walk to a metro, whereas in Barcelona, 60% of the population has a metro within walking distance. These are two extreme examples from the global context, but they also serve to illustrate important connections and relations in a Norwegian context. Today, we talk about three forms of urban compaction. Transformation implies conversion of former business areas or industrial areas into new urban areas. These new urban areas often combine housing, commerce, and offices. There are many examples of transformation in Norway. To the left here, you can see Trondheim's mechanical workshop, which in the 2000s were transformed into Solsiden. Other examples are Aker Brygge in Oslo and Solheimsviken in Bergen. Intensification means densification or compaction of existing plots, either by sealing spaces between apartment buildings or blocks, by building in height, or by so-called apple orchard compaction in detached residential areas. Expansion means development or construction on previously undeveloped land within a settlement. This can be a green space or other undeveloped areas. Thank you very much.